Normal day-to-day usage would be, I have a shower in the morning, toilets, very rarely have a bath. I might in the winter, but very rarely in the summer months. Kettle, washing machine. But the big thing, which is what you noticed, the fish tank. Now, that I sort of have to clean out normally once a month, once every 3 weeks, and I have to take about a quarter of a third of the water out of the tank and replace that. So that's probably different from a lot of households. So that's quite an extra usage that I have. That's about the only one. Yeah, I mean, I don't very often water the garden. If I do, I use a watering can rather than a hose. I mean, I found Southern Water very good. They sent me quite a good information pack through to both properties, actually, to the one in Hove and the one here in Southwick, explaining what the procedure would be, when the engineers would be. There would be a little bit of upheaval, as you would expect, and they suggested on the day, to fill up a couple of kettles or a washing bowl or something, so that you had water. It was pretty smooth, pretty painless. I got an envelope through the post, and it was very informative, saying the date that their engineers were due to come, what they would be doing. So they would be installing a meter. It had some tips, water saving tips there. It had a letter explaining that if you weren't happy with the conduct of the engineers, there was a phone number and that to contact. And then, which I did think, which was quite a nice touch, was about 28 days after the meter was installed, that they wrote to us again, just to say, you've now got your new water meter, again giving you some information on some water saving tips again. So it was just reinforcing that message, but also just saying, how did the installation go for you? My bill has gone down since I've had the meter, so I use a washing up bowl rather than a dishwasher. I mean, I do shower rather than bath. I think, fill the kettle only up to however many people, well, within reason. I mean, I don't measure it, I mean, I don't get paranoid about it, but yeah, if you're just making a cup of tea for three of us, then I would put enough water in for three. If it's just one, the opposite. I would say I've become more stricter with my use of water. What I do now, because we've still got the old lead pipes here, so I always let the tap run in the morning, for maybe, 30 seconds or something. But I do it in my washing up bowl, so it doesn't just run down the drain, and then I use that water to do my plants. I had before, which was the little plastic bag that goes in your toilet system. I think the thought process of the change for me was, I suppose it was beneficial for me. Why I'd never done it before, I don't know, but I think old habits die hard. So rather than have to pay such a sizable amount, maybe like 300 odd quid or something, whatever it was going to be, it was now sort of 20 odd pound a month. So it was better for me. It was also painless that I didn't have to queue up at the post office. I think I was given like a final bill, so that they were gonna. So from D-Day, so to speak, that's when you would be metered from. So we would then send you a final bill, whatever that would be, up for those few months, and then your new billing would start 1 month after that. It was fine, yeah. So I mean, it wasn't a huge difference. I suppose the only benefit to me was, well, if you say it was a benefit, was that rather than paying 6 months in advance, I'm now only paying 1 month in advance. But when I get my statement through, I always compare how I'm doing compared to other similar size households, and I am below the average. The installation, I think, was fine. I mean, that was fine. The follow-up letter was fine. The one thing maybe they could consider doing would maybe do the odd spot check, someone from Southern Water doing that, rather than just a letter, or even if it's just a courtesy telephone call.